Okay, got it. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Okay, there we are. We're live. Okay, sweet. So yeah, Facebook. Let me show you guys how to get in touch on the Facebook. So Herd of Profits. If you guys click the link that we posted, Angie just dropped a ton of links there for you guys. I'm going to talk about those links and how to join in. Um, right on, Jacob. You like the Discord? Absolutely. So Facebook is one of the easiest ways for you guys to connect with us. Um, we have a lot of resources on the Facebook that may not be there for a lot longer. As just a hint, we're going to be moving a lot of stuff over to Discord. But yeah, definitely make sure you're part of the Facebook. We have a lot of sub two students, Gator students, lenders, agents, private money lenders, contractors, all that good stuff, boots on the ground across the country. We have a great files tab. Make sure you check out the files tab. A lot of good resources in here for you guys. Um, and then one of the biggest reasons we do this Zoom, obviously, it's a little selfish, right? We want to try to provide as much value as possible. I think that's what Pace is so good at. It's the go giver mentality, right? It's put as much good value and good stuff in the world, and it will come back. So that's really our idea. Is we want to give you guys a ton of value. So hopefully you come back to us with leads or whatever, right? So at the first page of the Facebook group and the featured tab as well, we have form links. So if you guys are working on leads, whether it's direct to seller, direct to agent, maybe you already have a property under contract, maybe you have a good buyer that you're not sure how to find a deal for that buyer, we have resources for you guys. So we have links that you can upload that information to. And when you upload a lead or a buyer, for example, it attaches you as the joint venture partner. For example, if you submit a direct to seller lead and we go ahead and get that property under contract and we wholesale it or whatever, right? You will get paid as a joint venture on that lead. Same thing if you bring an investor buyer and we ended up selling a property that we have to that buyer, same thing. You get paid from that joint venture agreement. So your name is added on the lead in our CRM. So anytime we say, hey, we type a note, closed a deal with this person, got this property under contract, you're automatically notified anytime we move it in our status categories in the CRM or add a note to it. So yeah, if you guys have leads, I don't think we've been very good at this, right? Like we I think we've provided so much value that people are like, God, that's amazing. They go out and make a ton of phone calls, they get a property under contract, and now they're like, now what do I do, right? They don't know how to find a buyer. Bring that back to us. We'd love to be able to help find a buyer for your deal or negotiate with a seller, underwrite a deal, all that good stuff. Not necessarily calling, not automatically, right? So we're not going to our CRM is not that great where we automatically have a JV agreement drafted up with your information sent over to you to sign. You're just listed as the JV partner. Once, if we get a deal under contract or we find a buyer for a deal, then we'll go ahead and write up a JV. Also, every joint venture is different, right? So we have some people that just they made a call to an agent. They said, "Yeah, my client's interested." Oh no, and our recording stopped. Sorry, guys, technical difficulties. I'm not the technical person. I'm just the handsome
But
guy they
Dylan,
let talk
you're
on
the
the.
host, so you can start
Hmm?
you're the host,
Okay,
so
okay,
you can start the
okay. Do I just record to the cloud or record to the computer?
cloud.
Cloud.
It looks
Okay,
like you popped off by accident. So go,
okay.
are
We're
you
still
live?
on YouTube.
Are you live on YouTube still?
Yeah, we're still good on YouTube. It looks like.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Oliver Stanton to everyone. Ha, profile pic threw me
I
off.
don't know why my Zoom is
Unwavering.
doing this by
Okay. Sweet. But yeah, good question, Colin. Every lead is different, right? Like if you submit an address and you just had one conversation with the agent, and then from there we go ahead and negotiate, get it under contract, open escrow, deposit earnest money, market, find the buyer, hire the TC, get escrow open and then close it, right? That might be different than someone who already has a property under contract and they just need help finding a buyer, right? Like that might be a different joint venture split. So every JV is a little bit different. We don't know until we look at the deal, figure out what's going on. What's up, Sunday? Everybody say hi, Sunday. Sunday is just a gem out of California. She's a sub-2 student, mastermind student. There we go. Thank you, guys. Awesome. Sweet. So yeah, definitely tap in through the Facebook. If you guys have leads you're stuck on, you need help with, even if it's like, hey, I have this lead, I just have a question about it. The best way for you to like even us to answer a question, even if you don't want a JV, you're like, nope, I want this lead all to myself. I just have a question, like a simple little question. You can DM us all that good stuff, but if we don't have the full scope of the deal, right, we may not be able to answer your question the best. So even if you submit it, just leave in bold letters, please do not do anything with this. This is my question. If you could answer this, I'd greatly appreciate it. We'll probably shoot you a text or add a note on there. Hey, I would do this, and then remove it from our CRM or something like that too. So we'll never steal a deal from you either. I think it's important to tell people that if you submit a lead, that is your lead, right? We do not want to steal it because we're leaders in the sub-2 community. We are mastermind students with PACE. No one lead is worth us getting kicked out of sub-2, getting blacklisted, kicked from all the Facebook groups, and being blasted as someone who steals leads, right? So we'll never steal a lead from you. You submit it, it's your lead. We're here just to help you. So the next best place, some more value for you guys is, like I said, we've been doing these Zooms for over a year now. So we've created a ton of content. We've called agents live. We've called sellers live. We've written contracts. We've negotiated deals. We've underwrote, comped, walked sellers through contracts. You name it, we've probably done it on Angie's YouTube channel. I'm going to drop the link to that here as well. So just a ton of value. That's what we're here for. We just try to lead with value and hope it comes back. So definitely subscribe to Angie's YouTube channel. We're on the road to 2K. So if we can get 10 more subs today, that'd be huge. If you guys could sub, it's totally free. Yeah, we've done hot seats too, which we plan to bring back in 2024. People love those. That's a thing we learned from the Pace Morby sub-2 masterminds, where we'll bring someone in here from the Zoom, and we'll give you 10-15 minutes to just break down your business or where you'd like your business to be, and we'll give you our advice on it in a 15-minute hot seat. So yeah, if you come over to the live section, this channel has no videos. Yeah, I don't know why. It usually shows up in the live, but obviously hit videos. We've done a ton of videos in here. So come check out Angie's YouTube channel. And then lastly, most importantly, we're really trying to grow this is our Discord channel. So if you guys are in the chat, let me drop the link to just that specifically. Launch Pass, that's this one. So if you guys want to join the Discord, we highly encourage you. That's this launchpass.com/reps. Thanks, Rachel. The Discord is by far the best way for you guys to be in touch with us, right? Facebook, things can get lost in translation. We have to approve your posts. There's different sub channels, all that good stuff. But you know, we post a ton of links, and sometimes it's hard to find those links. We post resources. So Discord is the best way for you to find that, right? We have links. So we have wrap buyer forms, dispo forms, direct to seller, Facebook links. Here's our like Instagram and Facebook accounts, YouTube links, stuff like that. Yeah, Pansy, if you want to, yeah, absolutely invite people to Discord. We have affiliate links too. So we haven't posted in here yet, but we're going to have affiliate links for Privy and PropStream and different softwares as well. So hopefully you guys can get discounts on some of these programs. Announcements, right? Like here's where we will share our Zooms. So, hey, we're going live today. We have a general chat, obviously. We have list templates. So we're going to continue to grow this, but we are going to upload live calls that you guys can come and listen to. We have list templates. So I'm not sure what that one is, but rehab templates. So just a ton of resources for you. Data, we're going to post data in here, dispositions. We're also going to have, I think the biggest thing is we're going to have support, frequently asked questions. We also have support tickets. So you should be able to, I don't think I can because I'm an admin, but there's somewhere where you can hit create a ticket. And that's like, hey, I don't really know how to submit a lead form, but I can create a ticket. I have a lead I'm not sure what to do with. So you can create a ticket and we'll be able to jump in there. But I think the biggest thing that we're going to do is we're going to have these one-on-one chats, and we're going to have essentially open office hours. So for a couple of hours of the day, we are going to, me, Joey, and Jake are going to be in our open office making phone calls. So me, Joey, and Jake make phone calls every day. So we're just going to join the chat. Anytime I get an agent or a seller to answer, I'm going to unmute, and you guys can be in there listening to us make calls live, as well as the rest of the community. So if someone else gets an agent on the phone and they want to get feedback on that call, they can unmute and let the rest of the community listen to their chat. Yeah, the open office. Yeah, we're still working out the kinks of that. Obviously, there's some specifics that we have to work on that. But yeah, absolutely. So that will be a really cool session, part of it. So make sure you guys get a part of the Discord. Let me click that link too. I just want to show you guys what it looks like. So if you click on this launch pass, this is our website, proreps.net. If you sign up for it, make sure if you already have a Discord, you type in the same email you use for your Discord, or else it may not work. So if you already have a Discord, use that same email. Sorry, I should have said that at the beginning. Sweet. Awesome. But yeah, I think most importantly, more importantly than anything, right? Like a real estate business, whether you want to be a gator, sub two student, a wholesaler, you want to just buy and hold, you want to fix and flip, you want to be a TC, right? The only way to get better at those things and grow a business is leads, right? So if you don't have leads, your business isn't looking very hot, right? So now leads may look different for different people, right? Like we wholesale creative finance deals and cash deals, right? So now one lead for us may not be a lead for someone who's a gator or a TC, right? But we want to just talk to you guys about lead generation from our perspective and show you guys what our buy boxes look like for 2024, what our goals are, and then hopefully give you guys ideas of how to now go and hunt and generate leads, and also what a lead looks like too. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. We're going to try to keep it short. I'm not Pace. I cannot do these 4-hour Zooms. I'm going to try to keep it around an hour long. So hopefully you guys can stick around for that amount of time. So yeah, let's talk about one of our goals this year. One of our biggest goals. We have 2 primary goals. So let me find it. One of our primary goals is to buy Section 8 rentals. We think out of all of the buy and hold assets that are out there, right? Airbnb, long-term rental, midterm rental, all that good stuff. We think Section 8 is just a great asset to own because of the cash flow potential, right? There's other assets you can own, other areas you can buy in with different, depreciation benefits, appreciation benefits. But for us, we're focused on cash flow and depreciation. So that's why we think Section 8 is a great market for that. And if you guys want to copy that, we encourage you to. We think Section 8 is an extremely great vehicle for investment. So, Stephen, you got 2 Section 8s in Illinois. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's a great vehicle for financial freedom. But these are the areas that we're specifically focused on buying in. So North Carolina, South Carolina, Ohio, and Alabama, specifically just those states. We don't want to, we wholesale basically across the country. We're learning new markets. We're hunting for deals in so many different states, but we think to build a portfolio, we want to keep that small, right? Because then we have other property management, lending requirements, all this stuff that it may be difficult to scale a huge portfolio, where it's possible to scale a good sized portfolio in just these states. So that's the areas we're hunting in. Yeah, TJ, it's a great asset, right? Because typically the government is paying for half, if not 80% of the rent that you're due every month. So if your tenants get laid off, whatever, right, you're still getting 80%, if not half of your monthly rent, right? So it's a great vehicle. It's high demand, right? So some people see Section 8 as like being a slumlord, which it's not, right? If you operate your property as a slum, right, then you are a slumlord. But if you have a good asset for people that are low income, that can't afford housing, then you're just helping, you're helping people in need. So it could be a great investment vehicle, but a great vehicle to also help people as well. So North Carolina, South Carolina, Ohio, Alabama. So we don't want anything rural, obviously, right? We want areas where there is a housing authority, there is a demand for Section 8, for affordable housing. And this just goes into lead generation, right? So a lot of people teach you, right? If you guys want to wholesale, the first thing people teach you is go find a buyer. So we are your guys' buyers. We're buying in cash, we're buying creatively, we're getting DSCR loans. So if you guys want to start hunting in these areas, we'll be your buyer. There's a great website also to figure out where there is a need for Section 8 housing. It is called affordablehousing.com. So let me go and just zoom out. I just want to show you guys what this map looks like. This is a great website for you guys to just bounce around at. The reason we've chosen these markets is if you look at Birmingham, Alabama, right? Huge demand for Section 8 housing. There's so many Section 8s and they still have a waiting list, right? So we call there's 4 housing authorities just in Birmingham alone. That's what those gray boxes are for. And then if you go Atlanta, huge. We didn't pick Atlanta because it's so saturated. Everybody and their mom wants to own an Atlanta. Alabama is south of North Carolina, same thing, but a little less competition. We figure. So Columbia, South Carolina, huge demand for Section 8. 2 separate housing authorities in Columbia itself. We're also open to other areas like Greensville as well. Charleston, North Carolina, Fayetteville is a great market. A lot of demand for Section 8. And then obviously Cleveland, Ohio. If you guys know anything about Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio has a big demand, and Columbus as well for Section 8. So these are our areas, mostly Cleveland, Ohio, Columbia, South Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Birmingham, Alabama. That's specifically where we're looking. But if someone brings us a slam dunk of a deal somewhere else, who knows? We may buy it, or we will definitely have buyers for it as well. Let me pull back up our buy box. So population 200,000 and up, right? Nothing rural, no farm lands. C plus neighborhoods, right? With Section 8, you tend to deal in lower income areas, meaning higher crime areas, right? So there are websites you can just type in crime maps for Cleveland, Ohio, and you'll find it, right? So we don't want war zones, but we do want C plus lower crime areas if we can help it. The price range for these, Section 8 doesn't necessarily pencil once you get into properties higher than 120,000. So we're hunting from 60,000 to 120,000. If you guys live in areas like Colorado and California, you're probably like, what? There's houses for 60,000. There is. You can buy a house right now in Cleveland, Ohio for 20,000 probably. So we figure that 60,000 to 120,000 is that sweet range, is that perfect range for if you're buying deals in cash, or even if you're getting 8.5% DSCR loans. A $75,000 property still cash flows. I mean, you're getting sometimes 2%. So if you guys are familiar with the 1% and 2% rule, you're still getting a 2% rule on a $60,000 home. If you can find a 4-bedroom home at a $70,000 price range, it will likely rent for $1,200 to $1,300 to $1,400 a month on Section 8, and it'll still cash flow even with a higher interest rate loan. I don't know, Jacob. That's a good question. Didn't factory close down? I don't know. But right, because we're buying a low low income housing, affordable housing. You know, we're not too concerned with factories moving or not, right? Yeah, so we're going to upload these buy boxes in Facebook and Discord. I actually just made this one today. I'm making another one I haven't downloaded. I'll show you guys in just a second for our wholesale buy box. Gerardo says, can you explain Section 8 property? So Section 8 is the government's answer to low income families and individuals to help them find housing. You have to make under a certain amount of money every year, and the government will subsidize your will essentially help pay for your rent, right? So you apply through Section 8. They send you a list of homes and say, hey, you know, we'll help pay for the rent on these homes. And yeah, typically they'll pay half, if not up to 80% of your rent every month if you qualify for Section 8. So that's what Section 8 is, and they award the landlords that buy Section 8 rentals because they have a need for the housing. So you're killing two birds with one stone. What's great too is you can buy a house in, let's say, Cleveland, Ohio, with a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan, so a loan that's backed by the U.S. government, and then you can put a tenant in place there backed by the U.S. government. So it's just a very good model. If you guys haven't looked into Section 8, I'd highly encourage you to. Like I said, we're your buyers all day long too. So other amenities, right? So 60 to 120,000 is really that sweet range. We will look at anything higher up to 220,000 if there's creative financing available or if there's multiple units. But anything above that, the numbers generally don't seem to pencil. Financing, like I said, we're buying in cash. We have lending partners that will buy these properties in cash. We'll renovate them if we need to, get them rented, and then refinance, pay our private money people back, and just keep doing it. Seller finance, obviously subject to, we love, but we'll also get DSCR loans and conventional loans too. Bed bath, really, we ideally want 3 beds and up. 1 bath is actually perfect. We actually prefer only 1 bath, but if it has 2, we're okay with that. 750 square feet and up, ideally. These homes tend to be smaller as well, which is okay with us. It's less maintenance, right? So if tenants are putting holes in walls, there's less square footage for them to put holes in. There's other specifics with Section 8, right? Like ideally it doesn't have a garage. Ideally it doesn't have ceiling fans. You actually only need like a microwave and a refrigerator, I think, in Section 8s. They don't need to have a disposal. They don't need to have an oven. Just other things that go wrong, right? You don't need to have AC. Actually, I'm not sure if you need to have AC. You need to have like HVAC, obviously, like heating if you're in Ohio, stuff like that. But other specifics, we're not looking for fix and flips. We don't want scrapes. We don't want full guts. So cosmetic and mechanical rehabs only. Like if it needs a roof, if it needs flooring, stuff like that, we're okay with, but no guts, no scrapes. Lot size under 10,000 square foot. Again, just the smaller the lot size, the less maintenance we have. We are okay with inheriting tenants. A lot of times too, and I'll show you guys some filters to hunt for in Privy and PropStream. A lot of times these tired landlords, they don't go to the housing authority and request an increase in rent. Every year, the housing authority will typically grant anywhere from a 2 to 5% increase in rent. Sometimes landlords haven't done that for 5-10 years. So they still have a tenant paying $800 when they could be getting $1,300 or $1,400. So we're totally happy paying or taking over tenants because we know there's a ton of upside there where we're going to come in and request an increase in that person's rent. And typically, again, the government's going to pay it, right? So these tenants don't care. So HOA, we're okay with neighborhoods that have HOA, just depending, right? So we want to see their rules and regulations. Let's see. Any questions I'm missing? TJ says this is oh, Terrence, what's up, brother? No worries. Carol says, I'm trying to fill out the direct to agent lead form. The last question asks, who on the reps team I've spoken to? Do I need to talk to someone on the reps team before I submit the lead? Absolutely not. how that works is if you click my name, Joey's name, or Jake's name, I'm not sure if you click Dom or Angie's name, what happens, but if you click mine, Joey, or Jake's, the lead is assigned to us. So I'll be that lead manager. But if you don't click a name, it just assigns it to either me, Joey, or Jake, I believe. It doesn't assign it to Angie or Dom are not necessarily lead managers. They're not actively looking at leads like me, Joey, and Jake are. So you don't need to speak to us before you do. That's totally fine. Gerardo says, if we have a property that we need help with, what's the best way to get in contact with you guys? Great question, Gerardo. That would be to submit it through the lead form. As you guys can guess, right? Like I get a ton of text messages. The whole team does. We get a ton of phone calls, emails, Facebook DMs where people are like, hey, I have this property. I have this question. Here's the issue with it, right? And a lot of that stuff tends to get lost in translation. I tend to need to ask a ton of questions before I can even figure out the right answer to give you. So the best way for you to do it is to submit it through the lead form. That way I have all the information I need and I can just tell you, hey, here's what you need to do. If you need help, we can help you with that. Mike says, what does it take to get a house qualify for Section 8? Let's see, John says you will need to get a checklist, make sure that you have those things in place, typically the normal good landlord stuff like absolutely. So use that website I showed you, affordablehousing.com, and see if there is a need for Section 8, right? Typically, you can also just Google like housing authority near me, wherever you own a property or a rental, and call them and say, hey, is there a waiting list? And then ask them, what are you guys paying for 3 beds, 4 beds, whatever bed bath count you have? And then they're also, typically very nice. You can ask them, okay, what are the qualifications I need to become a Section 8 landlord? And they'll tell you your property needs to have this, this, and this. You'll need to submit this form and tell us this about yourself, all that good stuff. Good landlords provide steroids too. I don't know what that. So sweet. So that's our Section 8 buy box, right? Yeah. So this is our goal, right? Our goal, we have a big goal. We're trying to pick up 100 units of Section 8, meaning 100 single family homes, 100 doors of multifamily, right? Whatever that takes. Our idea to reach that goal is to buy portfolios and small to large multifamily. So, ideally we're buying 20, 30 homes at a time from a tired landlord, where we can buy them with some type of umbrella loan or seller finance, or subject to. Would Section 8 be good for non-landlord friendly states? I think so. Again, because the government is paying the majority of your rent, right? So in California, if a tenant wants to stop paying, they can just stop paying and they can still live in your property for 2-3 years while you go through an eviction process. So you may still have a tough time evicting that person, but at least the government's still going to continue to pay that portion of their rent. I got you, Ange. Absolutely. So that's our goal, is 100 doors of Section 8. And just to share with you guys the math on that, right? Like we have a property in Ohio. This is kind of where this stemmed from too, is just through our normal wholesale outreach, right? We found we were doing some direct to seller text campaigns, tired landlords. I texted this guy named Ted, and he was a tired landlord in Ohio, had a Section 8 property. We bought his home subject to, we were going to wholesale it. Luckily our buyer backed out and we kind of underwrote the deal and we're like, we should just keep this. He's got a tenant paying $1,300 and his mortgage that we took over subject to is $400. So we gross $900 a month, right? So there's still plenty of room for us to pay property management, a private money lender. So if we can cash flow at least $300, $400, $500 per unit, right? So let's just call it $400 per unit times 100. That's 40 grand a month, right? So if we can do that, make 40 grand a month, that's huge, right? That pays for all of the softwares that we pay for, the lights in our office, salaries, bonuses, whatever, right? So on top of our wholesale business. So just think about it like that, right? Yolanda says, do they have apartments where only a portion of the doors are Section 8? Yeah, so they have, typically, they might have apartments where only a portion of them is Section A, but I do know they have apartments where all of it is Section A. I don't know if they have them where it's just a portion. If so, would you be interested in those? Absolutely, Yolanda. Yeah. So yeah, Robert, I'm going to show you guys how you can find these deals right now too. What's the best way to explain sub 2 to a seller? Because you do a small role play. Gerardo, today's not really the Zoom for that. We've done a ton of those Zooms, and we're going to do more in the future. But that would take up a lot more time. Do you want any duplexes or 4 doors? Absolutely. Obviously, 100 doors is going to be tough if we're only buying single family. So if we can buy duplexes, fourplexes, multifamily, we are golden. We'd love to do that. So let me turn down the AC because I'm sweating, and then I'll show you guys how to hunt for these leads and find some of them. All right. So I gave you guys that one software, or website, affordablehousing.com, right? Here's another one, roofstock.com/investment properties. So I actually just found this today, believe it or not. And I'm like, this is an amazing website. I can't wait to share this with you guys. So I can find list price, right? So I'm ideally I'm searching for under 120,000. You can also search for down payment, right? So if you guys have a lender, neighborhood rating, right? I probably want at least 2.5 stars, location, and then I can hunt for the states that I want to buy in. North Carolina, South Carolina, and Ohio, apply. And I have other filters in here, I think. Where are my filters that I have wrong? There's more than just this. I was playing around with it. Let me clear my filters. So 120,000. And then what's great about these are actually listed on market properties. The first thing I did this morning is I called a property in Columbia, South Carolina, and had an amazing phone call with a real estate agent, and explained to her the property that I called on was actually off market. So I should have maybe called the sellers, but I decided to call the agent, and I'm glad I did. Oh yeah, am I not sharing my screen? Can you guys not see my screen?
Yeah.
Let me do it again. Okay. Can you see now? Okay. Perfect. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I was sharing my screen that whole time. So that website too, I was talking about, affordablehousing.com. But yeah, roofstock.com. So it's very similar to Investor Lift, which I'll also show you guys as well. But yeah, so you can filter for where you want to buy, your price range, your neighborhood rating. You can filter for other things, like cash on cash return, cap rate, monthly rent as well. So this is just a great website. And again, these are properties that are on market, listed. So I called an agent in Columbia, South Carolina, and she said, yeah, actually, she does fix and flips, but she doesn't do buy and holds. And she said this client of hers has 6 properties that he'd consider selling, right? See you, John. Thanks for showing up, brother. So just like that, right? Like that's the idea of this 18-minute challenge is make 1 phone call, 2 phone calls to an agent, and that will move the needle. I tend to do what Pace does and ramble, but I'm reading a book right now that is honestly one of the best books I've ever read. Some of you guys have probably read it. It's called A Slight Edge or Slight Edge. And it's just an amazing book. And it really is just like the 18-minute challenge. It's like these small incremental steps that you take every day, just get better 1% a day. And at the end of the year, you're going to be 365% better than what you were. You're going to be 3.5 times better at being on the phone, 3.5 times better at closing, right? So just get better 1% every day. Make 18 minutes worth of calls every day. Study, watch an 18-minute YouTube video about closing or creative finance, right? And you will get better. So that's really the idea. But this is just one way for you guys to find these good leads, right? Now, sometimes they're going to be overpriced and in a bad neighborhood. 99,000 might be too much for this area, right? But if you can find the gems here, and really we're looking for 3 beds and up, 4 beds, around 75,000 minimum, 60,000 minimum is the ideal price range. So not all of these are deals, even though they're very cheap homes, right? PropStream works as well too. So I'll show you guys a filter on PropStream you can use. If it loads. So I'm just gonna create it for you. So let's just type in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm gonna filter for non-owner occupied. And I'm gonna look for single family, multifamily. I'm gonna look for residential. I'm gonna look for 3 beds minimum, baths, 1 bath. I'm gonna look for ownerships. I want individuals, and I want minimum years of ownership. Let's look for like 15 years. Number of properties owned. Let's see who owns 5 or more properties and have owned them for 15 or more. Let's see, property characteristics. No, valuation and equity. I'm hunting for properties, excuse me, where the estimated value is maximum. Let's say 150,000, right? PropStream is going to be off, so I'm okay with this. And I can filter this down, but just alone with these filters, right? So these are your tired landlords. These are people that don't live in the home. They own 5 or more properties. They've owned them for 15 years or more. They're individuals, so they're not LLCs, right? These are people that are mom and pops. I probably also want to filter down for number of properties owned. I probably don't want people that own more than like 45, because then you're starting to get to more like institutionals. You can maybe lower that to like maybe even like 15. 347. I could also filter for if they have loans and low equity, stuff like that, but I'm okay with this filter. So right alone, 347. So if I'm you guys and I want to I'm okay with cold calling or maybe texting, right? Like some of you guys have REI Reply or some text campaign app. Yeah, there are good apps for crime neighborhoods. Typically just like you can just Google crime map for Cleveland, Ohio, and you'll be able to find a good one. That one's not too difficult. But so like if I'm you guys, right, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start wholesaling. Maybe I don't want to make a ton of phone calls, right? Get something like REI Reply or just any text blasting app. There's other ones. We use Launch Control for our texting. It's a little bit on the pricier side, but it's very good software. I would take these 347 properties, throw them in a skip trace, and start texting these. Hey, my name's Dylan. I'm buying whatever. That's not the best script, but find the right script for it, right? But these are perfect properties that work for probably Section 8 rentals, and these landlords are tired, right? So this is just lead generation. So this guy's owned this for 19 years. He owns 5 more properties, all in the Birmingham, Alabama area. One of them he just bought 3 months ago. But yeah, he's owned these for a long time. If I skip trace this guy, he's probably on the older side. He's probably in his 50s, 60s, right? So he's looking to retire soon. He might not like being a landlord much longer. But these are 347 leads in just Birmingham, right? So I could type in Fayetteville, North Carolina, 143, right? So this is just where you guys can find leads. Another place is called, so I want to close this, investorlift.com. This is the largest disposition wholesaling website there is. If you guys haven't heard of Investor Lift, definitely check it out. This is the largest platform probably in the country where wholesalers post their deals. So I can look for properties again under, let's say, 100K. I can hit advanced filters. I have to sign up. I don't know if I have an account. I think I do, but I can hunt in what states, blah blah blah, and then you call these people. They're actually going to be wholesalers. They're not going to be agents. These are going to be wholesalers. So not only can I connect with these wholesalers and say, hey, I have a buyer interested in your property, or hey, I have buyers interested in buying this deal. You can also connect with these wholesalers and say, hey, do you guys do any creative finance? No, probably is the answer you get. Okay, well, my team actually specializes in creative finance deals. do you have any dead leads where maybe the sellers had no equity, or they retired landlords and they didn't like your low cash offer? What if I was able to get you paid on those dead leads by creating them to creative finance, right? We've had so many deals close because a wholesaler sent us a lead and we're like, hey, this doesn't really make sense as a cash deal, but what if we converted this to seller finance? And they're like, well, I can't sell it anyway, so give it a shot, right? So we've closed a ton of deals like that. We literally just closed one exactly like that last month in Oklahoma. This wholesaler, bless his heart, had it locked up for 10K over the ARV because they owed exactly what it was worth, but they had a good interest rate. So we took it over subject to, wholesaled that to a buyer in a week. It was a lot easier than the cash deal they were trying to push. Gerardo says, do we buy in Colorado Springs? We have bought in Colorado Springs. We bought a wrap in Colorado Springs earlier this year. We primarily wholesale in Colorado Springs, but we're not opposed to it. So yeah, we have tons of buyers in Colorado Springs though, so we'll be easily able to sell that deal. So Investor Lift is another good area, not only to find leads for buyers that you may already have, but also to connect with wholesalers that are crushing it in the markets you guys want to hunt in. So if you have a buyer that's like, hey, I'm buying 10 deals a month in Paducah, Kansas, right? I would go to these wholesalers and say, hey, I have a very serious buyer. He's buying 10 deals a month. Do you guys have anything I could take a look at? Also, I'm an expert. My team is an expert in creative finance. I'm sure you guys have some dead leads. I'd love to convert them to creative and get you paid. Okay, so let me show you guys. So that's kind of our buy box, what we're looking to buy and how you guys can find those leads. Also, if you want to wholesale them to us or buy them for yourself, we encourage it. But I also want to show you guys, this is our wholesale buy box. I'm still working on it, so it's not totally complete. Let me take a drink of water. But this goes into your question, Carol. Carol asked a great question. What's the preferred existing mortgage interest rate for a sub-2 deal? And for us, that interest rate is ideally 4.5%. And I didn't write that on here. So good question. Oh, actually, no, I did. Okay. So the markets. So these are primary markets. And these aren't the only markets we'll hunt in because there's buyers in every single state. There's people buying real estate deals in North Dakota, if you believe it or not. We don't really hunt out there because we don't really know the buyers, but I'm positive there are some. There's about 25 states on here. Yeah, Ken. I'm going to upload these in the Facebook group and on Discord, all that good stuff. But these are the primary markets where we've already wholesale deals or we know we already have buyers. Okay. So DMV is like DC, Maryland, Virginia, and then North, South Carolina. So I just put those two together. But so it's about 25 states we're hunting in. Really, the only states we don't want is like Washington, Oregon. I mean, if a good deal comes and it's a great deal, there are buyers in those states, so we'll search. But we're trying to stay away from very blue states, even though California is on here, Colorado's on here, the DMV is on here, just because we know we have tons of buyers in those states. But yeah, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Wyoming, Montana aren't really on here because it's just too rural for us. But yeah, price range, ideally, we're hunting for properties below 450,000, right? We have fix and flip buyers that do high-end luxury flips, $2 million flips. And there are deals that you can find, but if you're just only hunting for luxury stuff, your buyer pool is very limited. Especially in the current market we're in right now, a lot of buyers that were doing luxury flips are either lost all their money or have stopped. So our ideal price range for wholesaling deals is 450,000 and below. That could be cash deals, fix and flip deals, or creative. We will take a look at anything higher, nothing above 1 million. Now, if you send us a deal where it's like, hey, this home's worth 3 million, they were asking 1 million, and it needs some carpet and paint, and that's it, right? Obviously, we'll take a look at that, but use your best judgment, right? Like, we're not looking for high-end luxury homes that only make sense if you Airbnb them. It's just a very volatile exit strategy, not a very good deal. Bed bath, again, we're looking for 3 beds, 1 bath, minimum 1,100 square feet, ideally. Pansy asks us for marketing for any multifamily. Not quite. We really want to start taking down some multifamily, especially like I said, for Section 8s and our own portfolios. But right now, our main goals are Section 8s and wholesaling. Those are the 2 big goals. So our goal for wholesaling, we want to ideally do 15 to 20 deals a month where we're wholesaling properties. And the assignment fees on those, we're shooting for a 15K minimum on those deals, right? So we want to be bringing in $200,000 to $300,000 a month in the wholesale side, and then $40,000 a month on the Section 8 rental side by the end of the year. That's the goal. Okay. Yeah. We're not really hunting for multifamily right now. Again, like, multifamily is tough tough asset to wholesale. So yeah, not necessarily. Other specifics, so cash deals. If you have, let's say you call an agent and they're like, nope, they're not open to creative, but you can buy it in cash, right? That doesn't mean that's a cash deal, right? If you offer to buy my house in cash, I'd be like, absolutely, but I want 600,000. So cash deals must be 75% of the ARV at minimum or at maximum. Me and Joey were arguing over what's the right way to put that, but 75%, 65% minimum, I think, is the right way you say it. Yeah, obviously, if you call an agent and it's low equity and they're like, no, but you can buy it in cash, that doesn't mean that's a cash deal, right? Everybody will take a cash offer. They have to be open to a low cash offer, meaning 75% of ARV minus repairs, right? So if the property is destroyed and they're already listed at 75% of the ARV, that's not a deal either, right? It must be minus repairs. Let me spell that out. Minus repairs. Okay. Seller financing deals. So many people just type in Zillow, seller finance in Zillow, right? And then they find people that are like, hey, this guy's willing to sell his house on seller finance. This must be a great lead, right? But if you call them and they say, no, I want 30% down and I want a 10% interest rate and I want a 20 or a 2-year balloon, I'd much rather go to a bank. Branson asked 75% of the ARV minus repairs in any state. It's a general rule of thumb. Some states like Colorado is a great rule for 75% because appreciation, like, we appreciate pretty quickly. For Cali, yeah, you're probably fine with 75%, sometimes even 80%. Like, before the market crashed, before interest rates went up, people were buying at 90% because in the 3 months it took you to flip that home, your home went up $100,000 in value. But in other areas, 65% is that rule. So there's different factors like minimum wage, cost of material, stuff like that you have to take into consideration. But generally, I would say 70% on average, 75% is fine. Carol asks a great question. If any of you guys are listening, this is probably super important because we get asked this question all the time. Do we need to have it under contract before we submit a lead? The answer is absolutely not. The majority of people in here are in here because they are new or they're looking to learn, right? So not everybody in here is a closer, or they know how to underwrite a deal, or they have the right contracts, right? So that's what we're here for. Is we're here to help you underwrite it, so you know what terms to lock it up at. Negotiate on, like, they want 20% down, maybe we can help you get it at 5% down. And then also, obviously, the contracts. If you're not a sub-2 student, you don't have the creative finance contracts unless you paid an attorney for them. So that's another thing we can help out. But yeah, absolutely not. You don't need to have them under contract. That's why we would call it a lead. I don't know how Pace does these for 4 hours long. My voice is fried already.
Dylan, you've got people on YouTube asking some questions.
Oh, do I? Okay, let me
Where were the cities that you were talking about? They asked.
Mm,
And what's the best app for texting?
so the cities, we're gonna upload these buy boxes in the Facebook group and in the Discord. Yeah, plus I get sidetracked. But these are the states we wholesale in. For us, for buying, it's Alabama, Ohio, North and South Carolina, and that's it. Text campaigns, look into it, but there's REI Reply. There's so many platforms. We use Launch Control. They're a little bit on the expensive side, but they're amazing because they have their own like campaign manager that helps you and make sure you get like a 92% delivery rate. Tons of stuff. Launch Control is pretty great. So I think we pay like 400 something bucks a month for that one. You don't really pay for 500 bucks. Yeah, you don't really pay for the texts you sent out, right? You do have to pay for skip tracing on top of that. That's separate. I think they do have their own skip tracing that is negotiable. I think we negotiated 10 cents a record, where a lot of platforms are 12 cents a record. Yeah, so Launch Control is great. We like Launch Control, but if you want to start on the cheaper side, REI Reply is great, but you're going to have to learn how to, use the right scripts to get a high delivery rate. So if you're willing to spend more money and you want your hand held a little bit more, Launch Control is definitely the way to go. Okay, and then Kathy says, in the sub 2, do you ever look at the payment if it is low, but the interest may be at 6? So yeah, Kathy, that's why we are hunting for Section 8, is because we'll buy creative finance deals with 6 or 7 or 8% interest rates because they still cash flow, right? Like a $60,000 house at 8%, your payment's only 400 bucks still. Like it's very low. Your rent's still 1,200, right? But for wholesaling creative finance deals, once you start to get above that $200,000 price range, so many people automatically they see a 5 or 6% rate and they get turned off. And these are just generalities, right? Like we'll look at any lead, but we tend to want to stick to this framework because then everybody just sends everything, and it's like we just waste our time with just looking at bad leads all day.
Recording in progress.
Jack's over there to figure out how to collect rent from everyone.
So seller finance deals must have better terms than bank financing, right? Balloons, no short balloons, guys. If someone wants a 2-year balloon, a 3-year balloon, it's not a good deal. Someone wants a 20% down payment and a 6% interest rate, right? That's what banks are offering. So why don't you just go get a bank loan? Seller finance deals are good if they're low interest, low down payment, all that good stuff, right? 7-year balloons minimum. Subject to must be low equity and lower than a 4.5% interest rate, right? We have bought deals where the sellers had a ton of equity and they accepted a small down payment from us and they carried the rest of their equity at a 0 interest rate with no balloon. So those deals are out there, but they will be fewer and far between. You're better off just looking at low equity, low interest rate. Keon says, so with these leads, we need to skip trace to speak to owners correctly. With some of the leads I shared with you, yeah. Like if you're looking in PropStream and you're using that filter that I showed you for tired landlords, you will need to skip trace those, yeah. HOA and solar are okay, but they're not preferred, right? We'll look at them. We wholesale deals with HOA and solar, but they're just not preferred. Tenants in place are okay, as long as we understand the lease information. We had a deal under contract in Detroit because we didn't really ask too much about they said, yeah, the tenant, we have tenants in there. For whatever reason, we just didn't vet it, right? But their tenants are in there until July of 2025. So another year and a half they're in there and they're paying $500 under market rent and they wouldn't take a cash for keys. They wouldn't move out. So like, we just couldn't do anything with that deal. We had to terminate. Yes, I'm going to upload these buy boxes in the Discord, Gerardo. Okay, so that's just, like if you guys want to submit leads to us, try to stick to this framework for creative and cash deals. Okay. Yep, in Discord. Do we like batch leads more or PropStream or Privy? I would say Privy is different than those two. Privy is going to be better for comping and underwriting cash deals. Privy is not really that great for creative deals. Privy is great for finding buyers, mostly fix and flip buyers, and it's great for comping properties. But if we're just dealing in strictly creative, it's not really that great for those. But obviously we do a lot of cash deals, so Privy is great for that. We also have an affiliate code for Privy if you guys do want to get that. Batch leads and PropStream are going to be very similar to each other. It's just kind of whichever you like. They're very similar. We like PropStream. I think from the general consensus I hear is PropStream is a little bit better, but they're very similar. So if you go with one over the other, it's not really a big deal. I think they're priced about the same too. So no big deal. Yeah, Sunday likes PropStream. Yeah, we've been using PropStream. We used to have Batch, but we prefer PropStream, I think. Yeah, we will help you with any deal you want to wholesale. That's a good point, Rachel. If you have a deal and it's $1 million deal and you can't find a buyer for it, send it to us. We'll take a look at it. We'll underwrite it and maybe tell you, okay, this is a good deal. You just need help finding a buyer. We'll help you find a buyer. I don't know if Batch is better for skip tracing. There's other third-party softwares that I would recommend for skip tracing before I use PropStream or Batch. They're a little bit more on the expensive side. Sweet. And then last thing I want to talk to you guys too, let me actually show you what the lead forms look like so you guys know what you're filling out too. So this is the direct to agent form. And then right here, it says, here's a Loom video to explain how to fill out the lead form. So if you guys aren't quite sure how to fill it out, then click this video and then it's an explanation video on how to fill it out. Very first thing is confirm you have spoken with the seller and the agent. They are open to terms, right? Or low cash, right? Obviously, if you don't click this button, it will not allow you to submit it, right? We don't want you guys just sending us like seller finance leads on Zillow. You have to call and have a conversation, get the motivation, all that good stuff, right? We don't want you guys just submitting blanket leads where you have no idea what's going on. JV partner, this is your name, and I think we need to specify this a little bit because we've had people fill it out wrong. But JV partner, this is your name. So obviously put your info here, your phone, your email, if you have a company. And then this is our direct to agent. So fill out the agent's name, seller's first name. Now we do require this because every contact in our CRM is the seller's name. So if you don't have it, you can put John Doe, Jane Doe, something like that, and we'll find it for you. But try to find it. You can use like PropStream, True People Search. You can search it up on county records. You should be able to find it. If you do not want to put your info, we will not know who you submitted the lead. Yeah, obviously, if you don't put your info and you submit a smoking hot lead, we're like, well, I guess this person didn't want to get paid, right? So definitely make sure you guys put your info. For a direct to agent, we don't need the seller's phone, email, or anything, property address. Try to understand if it's owner occupied, if it's vacant, if it's rented. If you don't know, not a big deal there. Distress indicator / motivation to sell, right? So a lot of you guys know this, but some of you guys probably don't, is there's a difference between a prospect and a lead. And there's a difference between a lead and a deal, okay? A prospect is like, hey, there's an address, it looks good, right? Or maybe you drove by a property and it needed some work. There's a tarp on the roof, right? That's a prospect. That's not a lead. A lead is once you know the 4 pillars, okay? So if you guys have never heard that saying, the 4 pillars, that's used by the real estate industry, maybe even all sales. Gerardo says if it's off market, you don't need to add anything for the agent parts. No, and you're going to use a different form. You're going to use the direct to seller form right here. Right here. And it may ask you, yeah, so there's no info for the agent. So make sure you use the direct to seller form, obviously. But okay, so your 4 pillars. So if you guys don't know this, I would write it down, get it tattooed, do something with it. This is so important for you to know. If you want to be in real estate, you need to know what the 4 pillars are. The first one, biggest one, most important one is motivation. Why does this person want to sell? Are they just on the market because they want to see if their home will get 30,000, 50,000 over asking? You know, or do they need to sell because they're getting a divorce, they're in probate, they're in foreclosure, right? Those are obviously what we're hunting for, motivated sellers, right? Not someone that's just like, well, I'm just seeing what I could get, right? So that's the first pillar is motivation. The second pillar is going to be time frame. How soon do they need to sell, right? Like maybe they need to sell because they're moving for a new job, but maybe they don't move for that job for another 6 months, right? So maybe they're not so motivated right now, but they will be, right? So that's another important pillar is time frame. Your next pillar is condition, right? So what's the condition of the property? And we just made it real simple for you. Is it excellent, good, average, poor, or a tear down? You can list the repairs needed. That's not a mandatory field. And then the last pillar is price. What do they want for it, right? So you have motivation, timeline, condition, and price. Those are your 4 pillars. Once you have those and you now know, okay, it's a motivated seller. They want to sell within 90 days. The house is in whatever kind of condition. I at least know what kind of condition the house is in, and I know what price they want. Now that converts from a prospect to a lead, right? It's not a deal yet. A deal is when we get it under contract, right? Now it's a deal. So make sure you guys fill this out. Additional information. Now, this is super important. Don't just say they want to move and submit that, right? Like that tells me nothing. Now I have to go and call that seller, call that agent, say, hey, what's going on? Tell me a story about this seller. You know, this is an immaculate looking home, great school district. Why do they want to sell? Try to pull that information out of that agent, out of that seller, and give me a summary of your conversation. If you had a 10-minute conversation with the agent, you should be writing me at least a paragraph or 2 about that conversation, what you talked about, you know, all that. Yeah, delve as much as possible, please. What would you put if they do not have a timeline, right? Like I'm not great at it either too. Sometimes I do forget to ask, hey, what's their motivation? Or hey, do they need to sell quick or do they have time on their side? I don't always ask those questions, right? Sometimes you have an agent that's very short and to the point and they're like, just send an offer, right? Sometimes I won't send an offer unless I have those information, but if I think there's a really good lead here, then I'll send an offer. So if you don't get it, it's okay, but try to. If it's off, yeah, I already answered that, Gerardo. When I ask, they say no. Yeah. So, and a better question, and maybe Kaylin, it's just, you know, you need to word your questions differently, right? Like instead of, you know, do they need to sell quickly? Say, you know, we're buying a lot of homes this month. If we were to send them an offer and shoot to close in 60 days, are they okay with that? So that's a different way. I'm not saying that's the right way. You know, there's different ways you can word your questions. I would say try switching it up, see what gets you the better response, all that good stuff. So sweet. My voice is fried, you guys. I think that was a good Zoom. Hopefully that shows you guys, one, how to find leads, right? How to identify what a good lead looks like, and then how to set your goals, right? So for us, the goal is to wholesale a ton of deals and to buy some Section 8s. Jenny says, off-topic question, how do you comp a renovated home to get the right MAO? How do you comp a renovated home? So a property that's already renovated. Yeah, you just have to find properties that have sold around that area, similar square footage, same bed, bath. Jenny is the best way. But if you have a specific property you're talking about and you're like, hey, I just need help finding the after repair value so I can submit an offer so I know my MAO, create a support ticket in the Discord, or you can submit the lead through the form and just let us know. Yeah, I know. I got 3 more hours to go if I want to be like Pace. I can't do it. You guys can probably already hear my voice is going. Yeah, Jenny, 70, you know, it depends. 70% of the ARV minus repairs though, right? So if it needs a ton of work, you also have to know how much work it's going to need. Okay, sweet. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you guys learned something, type a 3 in the chat for your boy. Let's go. We got Oliver at least. Let's go. All right. Thank you guys. Sweet. So I encourage you. And then I think here's how we want to end it too. Whether you're a part of the 18-minute challenge, the elephant challenge, you found me through my Instagram, and you're like, dang, this guy's cute. Let me see what this guy's about. And somehow you found the Zoom, whatever, however you found it. Our goal for you guys, right? Of course, we want to teach you guys as much value, but it's not up to us to make you guys money, right? My goal for you guys is not to make a ton of money this year, at least from these Zooms from us, right? It's not my job for you to pick up the phones and hammer agents or hammer sellers and wholesale, right? My goal is to set you guys up for life. I think 99% of people in real estate want to build generational wealth through either fix and flipping or passive income, right? I think if I really think about it, right, who loves real estate, right? I love real estate, but I love golfing and snowboarding more, right? I'm just not a pro at those. I can't get paid for those. But the only way for me to free up enough time for me to do those things is by generating passive income. I think real estate for me was the best vehicle that I saw to generate passive income and build wealth. So that's really my goal, right? I think 99% of people in real estate share that goal. I think it's a very common goal, right? So my goal is for you not to earn a ton of money this year. My goal is to teach you guys how to build the skills to generate generational wealth in the future. And thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. But our goal is to teach you the skills that way you can go out and generate leads and start your own wholesale business or start to buy Section 8s, right? I don't want to just teach you guys a script where you go and call and you wholesale one deal. We just want to help you get started and develop your skills. So that way in 5 years, you're like, I know all the verbiage. I know how to write a contract. I know how to call an agent. Now I can start buying Section 8 properties, right? Like, I don't want you guys to quit your jobs in 3 months or 6 months or a year. Some of you guys should never quit your jobs. If you're making good money, right? Why quit your job? Just start buying properties. And in 5 years, you'll have enough passive income that, hey, maybe you can go down to part-time. Maybe you can quit, right? But the goal is for you guys to earn the skills to get the deals. It's not just for you to skip everything and get a deal, right? I think so many people want to just get their first deal. That's all they're focused on. But if you focus on getting the skills to get your first deal, that's a much better way to look at it. I think this book, I love this book I'm reading right now. It's called The Slight Edge. I highly encourage you guys to read it. It just talks a lot about like getting successful is so mundane. That's why so many people aren't successful. Like it's so mundane, right? Like I wake up, I make my bed every day. I've been on my health grind, right? I've been going to the gym. I've been eating chicken and rice and pork chops and rice, right? And it's so mundane and boring, but that's the key to success. It's not hitting the lottery, right? That's why so many lottery winners go broke, is because they didn't take the incremental steps it took to make that money, so they don't know how to keep it. So yeah, you know, get better 1% a day. At the end of the year, you're going to be 3.5 times better than you were when you started. So that's really my key to you guys is consistency. Absolutely, Ray, you got it. Sweet. All right, guys, make sure you're tapped into the Facebook, the Discord. If you need help, hit us up on Facebook, hit Rachel up. She's going to be your best resource, point you to the right direction where you need to go. Angie, Rachel, am I missing anything?
I think we got it all, Joe.
Okay. Oh, Joey just closed the deal in about 20 minutes. Let's go. All right, guys, sweet. We will see you on Friday. Our next Zoom is Friday at noon Mountain Time. That's 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific. And we're going to have some good stuff for you guys that day. So we'll see you there. Again, need anything, hit up Rachel, hit up the Facebook, Discord, all that good stuff. We'll see you on Friday. Peace.